Okay, today I'm joined by O8 Customer Success Manager Adam Nix, and this is O8 on WordPress. So Adam, thanks for joining me. First of all, for anyone who isn't familiar, let's talk about what WordPress is. So tell me a little bit about it.
Sure. So WordPress is an open source platform, content management system specifically. It's really focused in on usability, ease of use, getting people up and running quickly, and then being flexible enough to really create the website that you want. Anything from a website for a small business to larger enterprise websites. It does a great job of keeping up with new technology, making sure that they continue to be as usable as possible for whoever their audience is. And their audience is huge. It is 35% of the internet at the moment.
So WordPress is often compared with Drupal. What important differences should we know?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the big differences between WordPress and Drupal is Drupal does have a different architecture and basically set up for making sure that things maybe will be more intense to maintain, but it'll have a stricter structure to keep things maintained. Sometimes better, depending on the use case for that company. When we look at WordPress, there can be a little more flexibility or customization for how you want your website to function through drag and drop editors and different types of theming and different types of editors to really make sure that the user is working with the site exactly how they want to. That being said, Drupal and WordPress are both open source platforms that are constantly, many times, the communities are working together on different types of integrations, such as Gutenberg, which is a popular drag and drop editor that is used both in Drupal and WordPress and included in WordPress core now.
So to oversimplify, it kind of sounds like WordPress tends to be better for less complex needs, maybe smaller organizations, and Drupal might be better for like more advanced, more complex sites out there. But what about the long list of other CMS solutions? There's Sitecore, Adobe Experience Manager. Compare and contrast those a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a ton of different CMSs you can choose from, and it can be really daunting to figure out which one's going to work best for a company. What makes WordPress and Drupal stand out from the rest is being open source. There's a community that's constantly adding to the functionality, security, usability, and responsiveness to these sites, making sure that you're up to date in both SEO purposes and ADA, making sure that if there's an issue on that site, it's immediately fixed by hundreds and hundreds of users that want to fix it. And sometimes these other solutions have a stricter process for making those fixes or have a different route that they want to take. But having something open source and involved with the community makes it so that there are so many possibilities.
So how intuitive is it? When should businesses look for WordPress development services? Is this something I can just handle, or do I really need to bring on a partner to help me out?
Well, it really depends on what you want from your site. Let's say you're a small business that just wants to have a presence on the internet. There's a lot of tutorials that you could jump into and learn how to actually get rolling with a WordPress site really quickly. Then as your site grows, WordPress is flexible enough where it can be better for more complex needs. And at that point, you might need to hire a developer or an agency to make sure that you're going down the right path with that. But if you wanted to just figure out what was going on with WordPress, they make it very easy to just get going. Something like wordpress.com is a good place to start for that, and actually being able to see like how you could actually set up a website hosted on their website.
So talk to me more about wordpress.com. I know there's wordpress.org. I mean, which is the better way to go, or what's the better choice?
Yeah, I mean, wordpress.com and wordpress.org are different in that wordpress.org is where you'd actually set up your own site. There's a lot more functionality in terms of where you go with it, editing, development, that kind of stuff. You'd probably want to make sure that you have your own hosted WordPress site for more complex sites through wordpress.org. If you're just looking for a blog, for instance, and you wanted to talk about your favorite recipes or you're traveling and you want to just basically have information about what you're doing personally and don't need that big of a branded presence, sometimes wordpress.com would be great because you can basically host your blog on their servers for a much lower cost, and it can get you rolling extremely quickly.
So it sounds like WordPress is a really great option for a lot of organizations, but what kind of businesses would you recommend this to?
Yeah, sure. So WordPress is used, like we said, on 35% of the internet. So it's obviously not some small portion of the web, but a lot of that, the companies using this site can be smaller, because it is so easy to get up and rolling. That being said, even if I would recommend this for a lot of smaller companies, it can be flexible enough to be the right CMS for larger enterprise companies. But once you get to that larger B2B company, we would probably work with you to compare and contrast different CMS options such as Drupal or some of the other ones we've mentioned in the past. If it's a smaller company, I would probably lean towards WordPress, especially if it's a simpler site.
Great. It sounds like a really manageable, awesome solution. So thanks so much, Adam. That was really helpful. And let us know if you have any questions, everybody. We're happy to help.